Hello, everyone. It's another sort of darker morning here as we gather in Sun and Moon Yoga Studios YouTube portal, and it's March. It's 10 o'clock. My match won't light. Could be dangerous. Oh, so on these darker, we're supposed to have some thunder and rain downpours today. So, what I like about these mornings is it's hard for you to see, but there's a bit of a glow. I can light a candle, and is there anywhere I can put this that you might see it a little bit without burning something down here? Here we go. A little bit, and if I block it. Yeah. Hello, good morning. Hello, whenever you're joining us. And this practice is about half an hour long. I do some sharing of the theme. And good morning, Steve. Good morning. Thank you for being here. Live time. Some others who made the commitment to join were Nancy and Tanya, and also welcome Emma. Um, so we arrived. So this half hour is about meditation, but also I share basically three practices. I call it mini movement and meditation, but there's really a third practice. I may add that into the title. Um, Meditation, I consider being still and silent. And there's lots more to say about that, and yet not much more to say about it. And mini movement, self explanatory. There's such a benefit to being aware of how we're moving, and that's something we can keep learning and improving at any time, any age, any circumstance. And um, I'll get to what I was just going to say in a moment. So there's meditation, movement, and movement doesn't have to be mini. It can be bigger movement, but for me, the important piece is the linking of attention and awareness to how we are moving. And the third thing, which I've been um, including a lot lately, is this is our expression of our own truth. So, and that's a big chapter all on its own. That how do we observe what is true, how we get more accurate about that. And that's similar to being aware of our movement. So being aware of our emotional, sensory, historical, hopeful, dreamful, imagineful presence, all those, and how then we express it, what we say, and does what we express really match up with what we are feeling? It's a great barometer or a tool for uh, knowing how close we are to our truth. So I was just going to say something about that, and I forgot. This is my brain in this age. Oh yes, really, really important. So important in that this last practice of what I call focusing or inquiry. I need to come up with a term that fits for how I experience it and want to share it right along those lines of getting accurate. It's so, so potent to do in 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 community, in relationship, in having somebody other than myself, another human, could be my cat, my dog, but another human listening and giving their attention to what I'm expressing. And so while we are on two sides, sort of seems like a non-interactive interface on this, hopefully that comes across a bit, that as I'm guiding you through that practice of inquiry, that you feel that I'm here listening to you, if that makes a kind of sense. So let's get to it. Let's start with our mini movement. And today, Um, I'm needing to have sort of a calming and balancing movement. And so, once again, I'm going to work with the breath and was something I work with so frequently. It's similar to the what I called the box breath a few weeks ago. Call it a simple four-part breath. And so you'll count for yourself. The counts are inhaling is 1, and the pause after the inhale is 2. Exhaling is the 3rd part, and the pause after the exhale is the 4th. And those within that simple structure, and you can go ahead and start while I give a little bit more refinement to the practice, they can be what I like to suggest is try not to interfere with your breath, which I find almost impossible, but it's a worthwhile endeavor to just feel the breath and let it come as naturally as possible. And while I suggest not to interfere with your breath, it's also the breath is unique in our functions. I'm not sure if that's totally true, but it's special, and maybe other parts of our physiology have this too, to certain degrees. While it will be there for us no matter what happens, so it's kinda like the liver function, it's gonna do whatever it does. But, my breath, I have the agency to do something with it. I can make it deeper, I can exhale longer, I can, relax my belly, relax my shoulders. So hopefully you're going on with the practice as I'm talking, the 4 parts. And even if my attention drifts and I'm not attending to this breathing, then, uh, it's still going to go on for me, thank goodness. The life force will continue to be disseminated, the oxygen and the other parts of the air around us will come in, disperse to the appropriate locations in the body, eventually getting to each cell, and then each cell spits out its residues that it doesn't need and the carbon dioxide, and that gets traveled back through the lungs, through the various tissues, the lungs, and out so that plants can benefit from it. You know all this. And what I skipped over is I skipped over making sure that we're sort of grounded and here. I should have done that first, but perhaps it's happening automatically from all our years of practice, hours, weeks, days, however, wherever you are in this practice. You might have chosen a seated position like me. You might be lying down. And go ahead and let that go. You've done this for maybe as much as 5 minutes. Let go of the 4-part breathing and just breathe naturally. Again, not in particular trying to do anything. Relax in the tongue and go ahead and notice, along with just noticing whatever you're noticing in your body. You may notice how you are just right here, just right here, and how that feels against the base of your body. Maybe it's your whole back body if you're lying down. Maybe it's your back and your pelvis and your backs of your legs if you're on a chair, near the soles of your feet. that interface. So another relationship, body part to couch, chair, ground, cushions, and just bringing the attention right there while you're also just peripherally noticing overall your feeling tone of tensions, relaxations, any emotions and thoughts that come through like clouds or stay longer like dandelions that root firmly. And so ground, and we've been noticing our breath and peripherally still, or kind of sharing the stage with grounding, how breathing is showing itself to you right now, how it might even be affecting your neck, affecting as in the breath kind of fills the whole body. It really and technically goes in the lungs and then small parts like called the alveoli and other particulars. But the effect of an in-breath, you could feel it through the whole skin. The effect of the out-breath, you could feel it along your whole skin. And then open to sound, this third and last part. They don't have to be in this order, but third and last part of this trio that I like to use to oil the gate, as my friend Christine says, to come to presence. And you might have, like me, as you open to listening, a cat that was meowing, something in your sphere that is calling you, distracting you. But now open to that listening. I hear, and you might hear it on the recording, the fan of the circulation system of our house. You might, like me in this season of spring, be hearing birds outside, a rumble of some kind of vehicle. And I did want to invite you, should you need a bigger movement, or maybe you just need now after this first 12 minutes together just to stretch your legs, to move your torso, anything you need, if you need. I am feeling like a little bit of movement needed. If you might just sit still or continue to be still. I twist side to side a little in this transition as we've centered and done our mini movement of breathing. And next, I'm going to invite you as you get comfortably still. This isn't yet the meditation portion, so you don't have to be completely still. In fact, gesture will be welcome for this next piece, this inquiry, focusing. And we've sort of cleared the space. We've centered. Now, when we return the inquiry, you might have, I'm going to ask you to just see what wants to be known, what needs to be known at this moment from your own being. You're asking your own self. And the other option is perhaps, and just let it simmer for a little, let this question simmer. Perhaps you have a something going on in your life, a decision making, an uncertainty, uh, um, conflict, a decision like maybe it's something very happy, like you have a possibility to go on vacation and you're not sure, you've got some choice there. Perhaps it's something about your health. So any question that's relevant for you, that might be what you will ask. Or like me, I'm going to choose to just see what what needs my attention. And so a bit of silence and listening. And this is where we're listening for ourselves. If we were doing this practice partnering, and as I am here for you, I'm listening for you. In fact, I'll do that. Even though I'm not actually with you, my energy, my listening will not be to myself as I usually do to sort of model, but I will actually, as weird as it is, be listening for you. And if we were in person, I would be listening and maybe interacting with you. So, how I would interact would be after you have spoken something, I will speak it back to you. So, your job now as you're listening is to listen to the body, how it's entertaining your question, how your body, your mind, your all of you might have a response. It might have a location, like it might be in your belly, might be in your throat. It might be fairly more cerebral of a answer, but I do invite you, if that's the case, to find its corresponding place in the body. So if you were, for example, wondering, how do I answer this person? How do I next? Need to respond. Maybe you get a message. Maybe the message is to wait. Maybe it is, I need to go reread that email. Maybe it is, I'm angry. This is what I want to say. Whatever comes, entertain it. And it may be several things. When you say that you're angry, then you might say, oh, but I can't be angry. I need to. So feel and notice in your body. Does it have a place? Is it in your heart? Is it in your hands? And follow whatever response you get. It might not be the ending one, but it's the one that's coming now. Say it out loud. If you're comfortable to do that where you are, say it out loud. Hear yourself, just as if I was with you, I would be hearing you. Maybe you say something like, oh, my hands are clenching and I really want to just give that person a piece of my mind. And I might, if I'm with you, I might say, your hands are clenching, piece of my mind. I'm just feeding back to you, just as your own hearing when you say it out loud. My stomach is in distress, it's acidy. When I say that, I hear my own words and then can feel, is it true? Is there something more accurate? Saying it out loud gives you a whole lot more sensory data to hear, to take in. One teacher I know even has you tape record this, then you can listen to it. And that way be your own partner for yourself. And so through this process, maybe you've come through several iterations and maybe you've come to something that's a little more clarified, like cleaned up, cleaned away. Not so clean. All parts of this path have been relevant, but you've gotten to the crux of it. I'm going to give you a little cheat or I'm hesitant to share this, but so often what is the most valuable message I get from myself? And I get some clear ideas, some tangible ones, but the main one I get over and over is to give myself moments of stillness and silence, to check in, to hear. And so let's segue right into about an 8 minutes of now stillness and silence. Before we actually start, I'm gonna just do something kind of unique to start us rather than ring the bell, do something a little different. But recenter, just check-ins. The centering might come so much more readily now, might already be here. Check in with ground, breath, sound. And maybe you have another a little acronym or shortcut or cue. Christine uses um, seat, feet, seat, feet, hands, hands, feet, seat. Those three. And so you fully arrive. Even with the knowledge, the mind will drift or popcorn. And the moment you become, that you notice that you catch that is a celebration, not a cause for punishment. And so I'm going to begin our 8-minute silence with a bow and holding the bell because this platform doesn't doesn't convey the bell very well. And as my teacher Russell says, enjoy your journey. And thank you for being here on this journey together in silence and stillness. Any of the pieces of the practice that help you for a moment to bring you back to the practice or fair game. That's the most potent part, and this is my truth. You can check it out for yourself that the most potent part of this practice is for me to reconnect, remember the capital B being that is eternal and boundless, that is always here. That essence of myself, capital S, that is the same source of us all. It is also, paradoxically, everything we experience, all the temporary, ephemeral, beautiful, painful. It is the essence of all of it. And the power of all those practices we did till this quiet, sitting still, listening, all of those help us to remember this. bird song, body breathing, all of this links us right back into what is prior to all of it, what is formless and boundless and eternal. And as you need to the breath, to the body, finding ease and joy right here, even if there's a lot more going on. Few more breaths together in this practice. And again, I bow with my bell to signify the end of our practice. And just take your time in this transition. Perhaps you choose to sit longer. And I'll just end with a kind of a summary of my theme or today is that the delight of being human is all the forms and temporary of our life, the comings and goings of the seasons of weather, of stages of life, of children, and then high school, all the change that we get to be involved in, and everything around us, this table, everything's in change. And then the challenge of that is that we can easily get too bound into that, and we lose connection with our essence. We lose connection with our essence. And while form is emptiness and emptiness is form from the Buddhist teaching, this pithy truth, that as we if we cling too much to form, and it's easy to do when we're in difficult times or there's something difficult, it's easy to take all our attention. So these practices, this meditation, the focusing, the movement, all attention and awareness with that coming to our essence helps us reroute and realize what um, there's so much we don't know, and when we can learn to relax more with that. It's not easy. I am still learning, still a baby in this. Still, I feel much to learn, but we can improve. And by us modeling that, even without telling anybody else what we're doing, when we can model that ability to get centered, to listen, to be present in whatever circumstance we are, it is an amazing gift. So I see a question from Steve. What am I currently reading? I'll share that in a moment, but I read very little inspirational these days. I did for years and years, and one of the main things I love to read is poetry. I have a book by a friend. This is a fabulous little book. Great story of how I got this. I actually met the author as this book was in the mail to me from another friend. It's wild. It's a great picture of an elephant doing crow pose on a teacup. Isn't that amazing? On a stack of teacups. It's called The Poetry of Impermanence, Mindfulness, and Joy by John Brame. He has there's three sections, and he has poets from the ancient writers and to modern writers like Pablo Neruda, and it's one of the ones I love, Ron Padgett. So poetry is a huge source for me. Of course, Mary Oliver is one of my beloved writers. David White lately, his writing. John O'Donohue, poet and writer who's no longer with us. He and David White knew each other, and their poetry has a very similar feel. It's very feeding to my soul. Also, my friend Jackie, who teaches on Friday mornings, the meditation, she has a she has a friend who sends her poetry, a friend from like school days or maybe even elementary school days. And she often forwards me poetry. Some of those are from past poet laureates. Oh, Billy Collins, a great poet. So poetry. But I also have to confess what I like to read right now is for several years now, I read mystery novels, and I'm learning so much about history as they draw in true things that we know from history, but also then, of course, with characters and fictional parts that bring it to life in a different way. So that's my confession. It's sort of a escape. It's just my pleasure, and I travel that way in a way, or I learn things about different countries, and so I'd love to see what's inspiring you. If you have time to put it in the chat, Steve, I'd love to see that, and I'll think on it and maybe offer. I've had a question, or we have a question from our studio. The teachers have been asked to share what readings from their current inventory of lists of books at the studios. What are our favorites? Understanding the human experience. Who's the author of that? It seems familiar to me. There's so many books I wish I would read, but I'll look it up. Okay, thank you for being here. Thank you for doing this practice, because this practice we do for ourselves. We do it for it benefits all beings, as the Buddhists have told us. Thank you. Oh, and if people are still here, I wanted to share some other names of people who have often been here, and I miss seeing some of you in person. Some of you I've never met in person. Um, Patty, Linda Kleckner, Linda. I don't know if you listen once in a while. Sandra Clark sometimes listen. Gail from Edisto from South Carolina. Amalesh. Um, and some of you I have never met, but just I've seen your names here or on my register. Ollie, Manda, Ida, Lana, Sandy, Alexa, and others. Be well. Come back to yourself over and over. Oh, the mystery, a generalization, understanding the human experience. Yeah, yeah, exactly. The mystery novels. Oh, yes. It is it's wonderful. I'm so grateful to writers who provide us that kind of thing. The poets and the mystery writers, all of it. Thanks so much, Steve. Maybe I'll meet you in person one day.